Cool, cool. All right, big card this week.
Big card. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch many of the fights last week. I went back and watched a couple of. I kind of took it as a little rest as well, just to get pumped up for card. There wasn't really much I was excited for on that card, to be honest with you. Especially with all the drama leading up to this one.
Yeah, man. I mean, big time shit happening with this card. Switched up. Volk switched up. Usman got plugged in. So we got some. I feel like this card is one that is almost guaranteed to deliver. And I know that's tough to say. Sometimes those end up not delivering. But this one feels like there's not much of a shot that this ends up being a shitty card.
All right, so let's jump right in. Uh, Bruno Silva versus Sharabutin Magomedov, also known as the Bullet, the Pirate, is Magomedov. It's the first time. This is a UFC debut, undefeated guy, going against Bruno Silva, who's had a tough go, but he fought some steep competition. You know, our guy Alex Pereira, Brennan Allen, GM3, Tavares. Um, I'm thinking this one is going to be a clear KO for our buddy the Pirate here. Um, I think that fight with Alex Pereira took a lot out of Bruno Silva, and I think with this being in Abu Dhabi and a heavy Russian card, I think we're going to see some fireworks from a lot of the Russian guys trying to make a name for themselves.
I agree, man. I think this is a good card to feel comfortable with those Russian names parlayed together. And we'll talk a lot about some of them later. This one, I'm real interested to watch Magomedov more than betting this fight. I just want to see if he's able to fight at this high of a level with one eyeball because he's called the Pirate for a reason. Dude doesn't have, any sight in one of his eyes, which I mean, if you just close your right eye and then put up your hand, like it's not very, you can't see a lot of shit. So I'm just interested to see like if Bruno Silva can spam fucking hooks to that side of his face because Magomedov has fought cans so far, and he's obviously fighting Bruno Silva, who was, I believe, he was ranked at one point at middleweight. So it'll be really interesting to see if Magomedov can, I guess, hold up at this high caliber of a fight. But I'm probably going to lean the same way as you, Magomedov, and I agree with what you said about Silva completely being dusted after fighting Alex. His chin has not looked the same. If you're getting knocked out by Brendan Allen, I'm not looking to bet you at all. So I'm going to take Magomedov, but this is a hell of a fight to start the card. This is an absolute banger to lead us off here. I feel like the UFC did that on purpose. They wanted people to tune in early. So they put this. This could borderline be a main card fight. This could be that main card opener instead of Saeed Nurmagomedov. But we're getting it first fight of the day, so it looks like I'll be waking up a little earlier than I expected.
This is I just checked. They just released the lines for him by knockout is -120. So I'm definitely gonna take some of that, and I'll probably parlay it with a couple of the other ones to see to see what we get. But I like that -120. I think he could do it. I think he's got him have to make a name for himself.
I
The
got
only thing I don't understand is how is this guy gonna fight outside of the UAE? He's not getting sanctioned in the states.
That's what I'm interested in. I feel like Dana's gonna have to pull some strings to get him to be able to fight because one eyeball is not something to, I guess, bat an eye at. That was a good one.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there. I got the under 1.5 here though as well. I added that into a couple parlays because I feel like someone's just going out in the first round. Um, Whichever one it is, I feel like one of them's getting out of there early. So I put the under 1.5 in a couple parlays. It's my only real exposure to this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it is good to see that Bruno Silva went, the full 3 rounds with Alex. But like I said, I think it took a lot out of him. And I think when you have a kid that is 5 years younger, taller, probably a little bit hungrier, I think he's gonna try and put a stamp on it and really make a point be known that he's here.
And he's already a star in Russia. Like the guy's known in Russia. It's not like this is some, can coming off of the Russian regional scene. No, this dude rides around Russia in a fucking G Wagon. Like he's I mean not Chamayev level in Russia, but he's not far off. He's a pretty well known guy, and it's partially because of how he looks. He's got that crazy look, that eyeball gone. He looks like who you'd see in like I guess like an MMA cartoon. This dude would fucking be one of the main villains in it for certain.
Oh, for sure. So, and here's the thing too. He's the number three guy, number three middleweight in Russia. So, I mean, it's not like they got a bunch of coming out of Russia. So,
Yeah, he's legit.
we'll see. Yeah, I think he's definitely legit and here to stay. So that should be a pretty easy one. The under 1.5, or if you want to take him straight up in a parlay piece.
Yeah, I like that. All right, we got Jin Yun Frey versus Victoria Dudakova. I'll keep mine, pretty short here. Dudakova is 13 or 14 years younger here. She has a UFC caliber win. I get it was, due to a dislocated elbow, as you guys can see there, but I just think Jin Yun Frey sucks. I think she's really bad. So I'm gonna just side with Dudakova here. She's undefeated. She's young. She's hungry. She's on the front side of her UFC journey. She's taller. She has longer reach. And I think Jin Yun Frey is probably going to gas out pretty quick. And I think Dudakova is just going to take advantage of that. I don't know if this goes the distance. I'm not really interested in having much on this at all. But Dudakova is definitely the pick for me here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take her, but I'm gonna take her probably by submission. If I'm feeling froggy, I might go. Well, if I want to go safer, I'll just go by finish. But Jin I mean, she's on a skid. She's 38 years old. This is kind of like her last. This has to be, in my opinion, her last fight. I just lost a league by decision, but before that, she got stopped by our girl Polyana Viana, and then she went to a split decision with Vanessa Demopoulos. So taking 3 losses in a year and 2 months, um, I think Dudakova will get her out of there. I think Father Time is just gonna catch up with her, and unfortunately, I think we might see her retire, and then possibly somebody else on the card as well.
Ooh, you think we're getting a double retirement? All right. Yeah, no, I
I think
agree.
I think we're getting a double.
Little double old person, huh? Little double 40 year olds retiring. No, but I mean I think Gino Frey is done here. I think this is the end of the line. You're either getting cut from the UFC or you're retiring, just like you said. All right.
So coming up next, we have Nathaniel Wood versus Muhammad Naimov. So this one, I'm kind of unsure about. Um, I think this is gonna be a dog fight, and on this one, I'm leading towards Muhammad Naimov. I know Nathaniel Wood, is a fantastic fighter out of England. Saw recently when he fought Jamie Malarkey and then absolutely stunned him and dropped him. That got a lot of attention that he is the real deal. And to have him a plus 250 seems almost like a gift. He's a taller fighter, he's got a slight reach advantage, and we know he's got the power. So if you look at his record, he's 9-2, so he doesn't have the experience, right? But he's got seven finishes of those 9 wins. His only two losses were both decisions. But then going up against Nathaniel Wood, I mean, he's no slouch either. He's coming off um, some good wins, notably Andre Touchy Feely, Charles Jourdain, and Charles Rosa. But I think this is going to be the first big upset of the card. I don't think it's going to go Nathaniel Wood's way. Do you think he's going to have his way with them, or what do you think?
I'm kind of leaning the same way as you actually. It's a real back and forth.
Really?
Yeah, it's a real back and forth one for me. But the price makes me pretty comfortable on Naimov, and the reason is I think he's just going to be a lot bigger here. I think he's going to be much bigger fighter. We saw Naimov fight at 155 in his last fight against Jamie Malarkey, which he looked good. Um, and we've seen Nathaniel Wood before fight at 135. So this is a guy who was at 135 and came up to 145, fighting against a guy who's coming down to 145, who's fought at 155. So I feel like he's going to be much bigger. I feel like the power could be an issue. It could be one of those situations where Wood, like, pops him 10 times, but then one of Naimov's punches score better than that because he just has much more effect on Wood. I feel like that could be the kind of fight we're looking at here. And we actually both picked Naimov over Malarkey, if you remember right. Um,
Yeah.
and so I think I'm gonna ride with Naimov here again. Going into this, I kind of thought Wood. I think Nathaniel Wood's a pretty good fighter, actually. I think he is, but I think Naimov is just gonna be too big and too powerful for him here.
Yeah, and a lot of people are heavy on Nathaniel Wood, which maybe they just didn't see the last fight where Malarkey absolutely got flatlined.
Yeah,
And I think Malarkey's good. I think Malarkey's got good hands. So that was quite the surprise. But like you said, I mean, not that we knew, but we had that feeling.
yeah. He showed promise in his previous fights coming into the UFC. Like he showed nice power. He showed nice hands, and he's real fast too, which is gonna help him in this fight because Wood, usually smaller guy, is gonna be quite a bit faster here. So I think he might have a slight speed advantage, Wood, but it's not gonna be enough to I think overcome that power advantage that Naimov is gonna have.
Yeah.
This next one's fun, dude. This
Oh,
is this is the only Indian fighter in the UFC, and his name is Anshul Jubilee, and he is fighting Mike, terrible UFC fighter Breeden. I know his nickname is Money, but Mike Breeden is really bad, and I really don't like to shit on UFC fighters because I have never been in a fight like an octagon fight before in my life, so I don't really know. But Mike Breeden is really really bad. We saw him lose to Terrence McKinney. We saw him lose to Natan Levy. We saw him lose to Alexander Hernandez by knockout. And Alexander Hernandez, is not a world beater by any means. So I'll keep this one, short and sweet. I think Jubilee wins this, but I don't think he should be as big of a favorite here. I have absolutely zero on this fight here. Jubilee's the pick, and I kind of think it'd be cool to see an Indian fighter do well in the UFC. So Jubilee for me because I think Breeden is awful, but the price is just a little bit out of hand here.
yeah. I mean, if I was to take anything, it would be Jubilee by finish. Um, because let's not forget, he just fought Terrence McKinney less than 2 months ago, and he got stopped.
Yup, he got beat
So
up.
it seems like it seems like a quick seems like a quick turnaround. But listen, we're not in charge of saying when people can go back in there. Um, but that doesn't seem like a good idea at 35 years old. 34 and a half. Just doesn't seem like a smart plan. But you know that the UFC is smart. They kind of put a guy out to pasture when they bring a new bull into the picture, I guess you could say.
Yeah, this is one of those situations, and I want to see Jubilee again because when we saw him in his debut, he looked all right. He looked pretty decent, but I'm interested to see how he looks here if he can get another one under his belt. He's going to be taller, but he's going to have a little bit of a reach disadvantage. But I think he's much hungrier here, which is we like to bet on hungry fighters, and so this will be real interesting. I think I'm gonna be this one, the Nathaniel Wood fight, and the Bruno Silva fight. So far, that's three of the four fights. I'm gonna be just kind of watching for future purposes. Those are all gonna be figure out if these guys are legit. Magomedov, is he legit? Naimov, is he legit? Jubilee, is he legit? I want to know if all three of those guys are fades down the line. Is it going to be someone like Grant Dawson, who we get, plus 400 on a guy like Bobby Green? Is it going to be one of those situations, or is it going to be one of those like Kyle Baraujo where we don't fade him down the line? We just decide to ride him
Yeah.
out. So that's going to be the main thing for me. And even the next fight, which I know we're gonna disagree on this one, but the next one's kind of the same situation for me. It's kind of a watch and see. You want to introduce your
Yeah.
boy here?
So the next one is Cedricus Dumas versus Abu Azatar. I am on the Cedricus Dumas side here. He's 8-1. It was a phenomenal prospect. He's long, lean. Um, he's got the size advantage. He did stumble. He did lose to Josh Fremd, and you kind of hold that against him. I think a little bit too much. That was his debut. Um, and then after that, he fought Cody Brundage and got a nice win on that. It went to a decision, but that's a significant step in the right direction. Whereas Abu Azatar, he's got a beautiful record, 14-3, but he just came off of a ground and pound loss 2.5 years ago from Marc Andre Barrio. He hasn't fought in 2.5 years. He's 37 years old. Hasn't fought in 2.5 years. He's a shorter guy, shorter reach, and he's going up against a 28-year-old kid who finally got his feet wet, popped his cherry, got his first win in the UFC, and now is looking to make a name for himself. Um, I don't see in a world where this makes sense that Abu Azatar can win this fight. Um, at that age, this might be another retirement. We might have three retirements on this card, maybe even more once we get further up. But this is probably going to be a retirement fight too. He came back out to see if he could do it. He's going to find out that he can't do it, and then that's going to be it. This kid is slick on his feet. Dumas is slick. It didn't show it against Fremch, but you also got to think of some stage fright and coming up to the big show. But I'm all in on Dumas, and I think he could get a finish here, and it'd be probably under 1.5.
All right. So we talked about this fight. I don't remember if it was yesterday or today or whatever, but I've changed my tune a bit. I don't know. I don't know. I have a Zaitar in a couple like really really crazy underdog parlays, like $5 to 3 grand or whatever it is, types of shit. But outside of that, I mean, I don't have any exposure to him. And after watching Dumas in his last fight, and then watching his Zaitar in his last fight, I think Dumas probably gets the better of him on the feet, and I could see him knocking him out on the feet. And I think a Zaitar, maybe could control him. But this is kind of another one of those. I'm interested in seeing Dumas for going forward. Am I going to want to fade this guy moving forward, or am I going to want to, just commit to him being legit moving forward? And you're telling me that you think he's legit, and so I'm pumping the brakes on a Zaitar a bit. I was thinking he might be a bet earlier in the week, but I think I'm gonna pass on the bet. Maybe just have him in those crazy parlays. But yeah, Dumas by knockout, and then yeah, see if I want to fade him in the future. I guess the pick, if I'm forced to make a pick here, I'll stick to my guns with a Zaitar, I guess. But it's absolutely nothing that I feel very strongly about here.
You know what's gonna happen is we're gonna be watching this fight, and then right before this fight starts, I'm gonna say, "Hey, you ever see a dead body?" Because this guy's gonna get flatlined. I can feel it in my plums. He's absolutely gonna get flatlined.
All
2.5 year
right.
layoff coming back at 38 years old. You don't do that.
Yeah, that is true. And we got Dumas being much younger and, 2 fights into his UFC career. He's just coming up here. He's much
Yeah,
taller,
Cody
much longer
Brundage. Cody
reach.
Brundage. Yeah, Cody Brundage is no walk in the park for anybody.
Cody Brundage fucking sucks.
But he's listen. He first of all, he beat a guy that's relevant within the last year at least.
Cody Brundage did?
Last
Oh,
guy,
you're talking about Dumas.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dumas, yeah. The last time, your guy Abu Azatar got a win. You were still in eighth grade ordering boxes and fucking grilled cheese slices. So
Grilled
that
cheese
was five
slice.
years and 2 months ago.
Yeah, dude. I
So that's what
mean,
I'm saying. This is. We already saw what happened. He came back after a 5 year layoff, or at that point it was 3 years, and got stopped. Now he's trying to do it again. He's gonna get stopped.
all
You
right.
know, it's gonna happen. But well, we'll see. We'll
We'll
see. Ooh,
see.
that would have been a good coffee bet. You don't wanna you
Yeah,
don't
I'm
wanna
not.
do that. Just
I'm not. I mean, I was kind of talking shit over text to you about a Zytar, but real life comes down to the nitty gritty. I mean, I don't want to have any value on a Zytar, even if it's a fucking thing of coffee. So we might have another one later on. Who knows? There might be another coffee bet down the line. All right. Now we've got. Ooh, this is a great fight as well. Javid Basharat, the Snow Leopard, versus Victor Henry. And Henry is quite a bit older here. He's 36, and Basharat is 28. Basharat undefeated. We got a lot of undefeated fighters on this card. We got Magomedov, Dudakova, Jubilee. Um,
yeah.
yeah, so we got some undefeated guys here, and then Basharat. So for me here, I think this is a stupid betting line, but it's another one of those I'm not even close to really betting Henry. I think Henry should be probably plus 200 here, plus 250, and he's up in the plus 300s, plus 400s, and Bosharat's probably going to win this. He's probably going to technically just pick apart Henry for 2 of the 3 rounds, but there's a chance Henry comes out to fight and makes this a split decision or a close decision sort of a deal. I'm just I'm kind of against fading Bosharat. I think both the brothers are pretty legit, and I'm kind of ready to just let them ride. And I was hoping we were going to get a better price on this. I thought when I saw the fight announced, I thought we were going to see Henry, get a little more respect and maybe be plus 200. And we are going to see Basharat minus 250. And if he was minus 250, we'd be talking some real money being put on Basharat there, because I thought that was going to be a good line, but nope, we have major chalk on Basharat. Do you think Henry has any shot, or you think Basharat gets it done here?
I think not a chance. Not a chance in the world. This is the thing. If you notice the pattern here, you're taking this undefeated person, right? That is getting a shine on a pay-per-view card, and they're going against other fighters who are past their prime, older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once again, Basharat is 28 and he's going against a 36-year-old that's cutting down to 135. Like I don't, I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it, but I don't understand why some of these guys are taking the fights. Maybe it's Victor Henry's got one last fight and then he can go. I don't know, go into bare knuckle or do something like that. But he's that's it.
Bare
It's gonna be a
knuckle.
wrap.
Oh man, Henry. I mean, Henry's got some decent fights. He beat Barcelos. He lost to a Sunsao. He beat Tony Gravely. I mean, he's got some okay wins. So this will be a good test for Basharat, in my opinion. Like this will be a good gauge where he's really at. And you can see on the worldwide rankings, they're pretty similar. Basharat's 23, Henry's 24. So UFC's doing a good job of building up the Boschrop brothers without, absolutely swamping them with top 15 guys right away.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be light work. I think we're gonna. You know what they're trying to do? I feel like it, especially now that they announced the new 5-year deal um, over in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna try to make this card as um, finish heavy as possible, and that's why you're seeing these lopsided fights. They want bangers and they want people getting finished. So I'm excited. I think a lot of these prospects they're really going to showcase their skills going against these kind of guys that are on their way out the door and girls with genuine pride.
I agree. I think it's also, Dana's getting into a very, very deep pocket market over there. This is going to be a spot
Oh
where
yeah,
he has a shot to really, really catch some checkbooks, get some investments, get some big money people on his back. So I think this is gonna be good, and I think that main event, honestly, Makhachev versus Volk is much better than Makhachev versus Oliveira from a star power, from a hardcore MMA fan perspective. I think that'll do him well. And also, I think Usman Chimaev is better
yeah.
than Costa Chimaev.
Uh, well, we'll get to those. We'll get to those soon enough.
We will. All right.
Luck. I mean, these have been going pretty quick because they're so lopsided. It's not like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Until we get to a fight like this.
Yeah. Exactly. We had probably four of those were pretty lopsided. All right. We got Muhammad Yahya fighting out of the UAE against the Trevor Peak. Trevor Peak coming out of Bama. And it looks like, Peak opened at an underdog, and I bet him at plus 120, and then he shot to minus 160. So I cashed out for a nice little win. I cashed out for, I can't remember. I think I ended up making like 70 or 80 bucks or something. So I cashed out Trevor Peak here, and my pick, I'm real tempted to go to the Yaya side here. Now that he's the dog, I'm tempted. I watched a little bit of tape on him. I think he might be a better all around just technical fighter than Peak, but Yaya, I was impressed, but I wasn't impressed enough to make me want to pick him. So I'm gonna stick with Peak, but I will say this is another really close 50-50 fight. I thought, that Nathaniel Wood Nymot fight is pretty close. This is another one that I'm feeling is very, very close. So for me, Peak will be the pick. I'm looking for some hammer fists. I'm looking for maybe an early knockout sort of a deal, but I cashed out of the bet, and I'm going to be a fan watching this because Peak is one of those action fighters that we like to see that he just goes forward and he just eats punches and he just throws punches and doesn't give a fuck. And that's that Alabama, attracted to your cousin sort of style. So, Tim, are you on Peak
Yeah.
or are you on Yaya?
Listen, I can never back a guy if his wife is also his sister. So I'm on Yaya. Here's the thing. Trevor Peak, he's one of those guys. He's entertaining. He'll stand and throw, and we saw it when he fought Chepe. But the problem is, Chepe was willing to do that, and it went down to a decision. And Peak got tired, and it wasn't. It was very one dimensional. I think when you go against a guy like Muhammad Yahya, I think there's going to be more elements. He doesn't have a problem taking him to the ground, going for a submission. I honestly think that we're going to see Yahya get a submission on here on Trevor Peak. It's the smart way to go about it. Is to take him down, kind of wrestle him, set some hooks, maybe go for a rear naked, take his back. I think that's going to be the least path of resistance for him. You don't want to go. You already know he's going to go in there and just want to throw. So why would you do that?
Yeah.
we're gonna see how smart Trevor Peak actually is, but it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna bode well for Trevor Peak.
I
So
will
I'm in on
say,
Yaya.
Yaya. I watched. I'm trying to find the one I watched. I watched this one where he got the triangle choke, and then I think I watched one of these. Yeah, this one here. He is very very can crushing. Like these guys really suck that he's fighting. So it'll be interesting to see how he jumps up into the competition of the UFC level. Because even if Trevor Peak is, Trevor Peak, and we know he's a little bit out there with his style, he's still UFC caliber. We've seen him get a win. We've seen him, he didn't get destroyed in that Chepe fight. So we know Trevor Peak is at least UFC caliber. So if Yaya can get this win, then we'll know he's legit. But if he can't, then I'll be really, really tempted to just think that this guy was a can crusher that they just got for Trevor Peak to take out. Um, because his fights that I did see that I was able to find, it was against guys that it looked like, maybe my drunk Uncle Tad could take out in the back porch and maybe have some success with, you know. But yeah, either way, this will be a fun fight. I think Trevor Peak, it's impossible for him to be in a boring fight to watch. Even if he's on his back, I think
Correct.
he's going to be doing something.
Yeah, I just worry about him fighting. Not fight. Oh, baby.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Uh,
This is a big card for us, or a big fight for us, Tim. Go ahead.
so we got Tim Elliott fighting Muhammad Mokaev. Mokaev is a heavy favorite. Um, Fighting out of England. He's been kind of making a name for himself. Most recently is when he got caught in that knee bar and did not tap. I don't remember. Was there a huge thing? How bad was his knee? Do we know if he had any surgeries or anything like that?
Yeah, they said his knee was like slightly damaged, and he got something small done, but it was not as bad as it looked. Like everyone thought his knee was destroyed, remember, because it was all swollen, and then it was,
Yeah.
it looked like ACL sort of a deal, but then it was not that bad. I remember he said maybe like MCL or something like that.
Yeah. But okay, so with that being said, he's going against Tim Elliott. Tim is on the wrong side of it too. Unfortunately, being almost 37. But here's the thing: Tim Elliott is a grimy fighter. He will do whatever he can to win, and he openly said that he doesn't have a problem cheating. So he's gonna make this a nasty fight. He's very awkward. I think the experience here and with everything that happened with Tim Elliott, with his wife, and then fighting that last fight, and it was kind of he didn't look right. I think all that's kind of now in the rearview mirror, and I think he's gonna humble Makayev. I think it's gonna be probably a decision, but I just think Tim Elliott's just gonna outwork him.
Yeah, I'm completely on the same side here. This is one of my actual bets for the card. I haven't had, an actual bet yet. And Tim Elliott is my first. I got him at, I think it was like plus 385, something like that. This is one of those Bobby Green fights for me. This is one of those where Makayev is going to be a fade. And me and you, if I remember right, had Fialho by submission. We'd scouted the guy and we thought, maybe he's got a shot here. So if I remember right, we had Fialho by decision or by submission, and then he had that knee bar, and he didn't tap, and then it was crazy. But what we saw from that fight was just a little tiny bit of Okay, Makayev is not the world beater that everyone, thought he was. Makayev might be human here. So once we get that fight, and Makayev, he's a very, very confident guy. I don't think he's going to really have much, issues with his self confidence, which some fighters after that sort of a fight might. But Makayev, I don't think he will. I think he's going to come into this fight just expecting to steamroll Tim Elliott and just, older Tim Elliott, this is kind of the guy that's a stepping stone for me changing of guard. And I think Tim Elliott's going to kind of teach him a little bit. Um, Elliott is very, very tough when it comes to getting down to the mat, getting down to the ground here. And that's Makayev's bread and butter. And on the feet, I think Elliott's going to be very, very live to just walk forward, take everything Makayev throws at him, and just kind of pressure him. And I don't know Makayev, if Makayev can't get takedowns, I'm not sure how his cardio is going to be. I'm not sure if Elliott is going to be able to push the pace on him because Elliott's got the cardio to do that. Um, but regardless of it
Oh,
all,
100%.
yeah, man. Regardless of it all, I'm 100% certain that, the price is not right here. I'm 100% certain that Makayev minus 500 is fucking out of this world, especially against Tim Elliott. The guy, he's had some very, very high level fights. He's had some good wins recently. Tagir Ulanbekov, that is a very good win. That's a good win, even though it was very close. So I'm thinking Tim Elliott here. I have him already bet. I might add some more after weigh-ins. We'll see how it looks, but Elliott all day for me here. I think Makayev, even if we don't get an Elliott win here, Makayev's going to be a guy I'm looking to fade as soon as he fights, anyone better than Elliott, which I do think Elliott has a shot of kind of finishing him here, to be honest. I have a lot of Elliott money line at that, high plus 375 and up. But I have a little bit of money, which I use from the cash out on Trevor Peak on Elliott by finish plus 1100. So that's going to be, just that long shot that I really, really like is maybe Elliott syncs up some stupid darts or maybe he jumps on a stupid guillotine and, puts Makayev asleep. But we'll see. Who knows? I'm on Elliott, though, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
comfortable with that price.
Yeah, I love Elliot at that price. And like I said, he'll put his fingers in your glove, he'll grab the cage, he'll do it all. And he even said, until they say don't do it, he's gonna do it. So
Yeah, exactly,
that's
bro.
just,
He's a junkyard dog.
some people like it. Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't, but he just wants to win.
Yep, and we like to bet those junkyard dogs, those guys who they're gonna walk forward and they're gonna take some on the way in. We love that shit. We love those guys too. So big spot there for Elliott.
Oh,
All
yes,
right.
sir.
Up
So
next,
now
we got
stay
little
quiet.
baby, not related Nurmagomedov. Imagine having your last
Yep.
name be Nurmagomedov and not be one of Khabib's at least family members. Um,
He says, yeah, I'm his brother. I'm
yeah,
the more handsome one.
when he's
I
at the
would.
dive bar and there's like 8 Russian chicks around, he's definitely saying, "Yeah, Khabib's my older brother. Come home with me and I'll show you. We'll have dinner with him or something." And then they go home and he does not know Khabib at all. And he fights out a Dag fighter. Who fights
Yeah,
out of
I'm not
that?
sure what
Zabit.
Dag
That's
fighters.
Zabit. Huh.
Yeah, and this is the thing. His last fight, right, was not good.
Yeah.
Um, but and you know what? Magomedov fights out of here. Okay, there's some good guys fighting. Teamers, your boy Teamer is out of this gym.
Teamer. He got robbed on the
So
Ultimate
so
Fighter.
here's the thing. Uh, well, that's another day. Here's here's the thing. He has a beautiful record, 17-3, and he was on quite the run. But then I think it's almost like he got too complacent when he fought Jonathan Martinez. So it went to a decision. He didn't look good. He didn't look aggressive. It seemed like something was off. So I'm not gonna hold that loss against him. But now he's going up against Muin Gafurov.
Yeah.
I'm butchering that name. But this is, he lost on Contender Series, right? He got 2 wins in the LFA, and then he got promoted to the UFC, and he lost a decision just under 2 months ago. I feel like he just went 3 rounds and lost a decision, under 2 months ago, going against Saeed Nurmagomedov, who had half a year to rest, kind of figure out, what he needs to do, kind of re-get motivated. The price on him at minus 205, I'll take him in a parlay. Do I think he'll get the finish? Maybe. But I think this is just a money line pick on Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. I'm on the same exact side for the same exact reasons. I think Nurmagomedov, potential lock of the week situation here. I think he's just much better, and I don't think it's even very close. I think this Gafurov guy. I watched one of his fights, and I think it was enough for me to feel comfortable on the Nurmagomedov side. So Nurmagomedov parlay piece this week. Add him to that under 1.5 on the Bruno Silva Magomedov fight. Yeah, I'm just on Saeed Nurmagomedov this week. I think he probably gets some takedowns. I think he just moves forward, throws a couple, spinning. This Gafurov guy can throw some crazy strikes here and there. He pushes a pace. I don't really think he's going to be able to make it at this high level. We saw he lost to John Castaneda. And so these high level, once he gets to the UFC level, he doesn't have a lot of success. And I think that's going to continue here with Saeed Nurmagomedov possibly getting a finish. I could see second round finish here. I think a second round would be a good bet as well because Gafurov usually blows a wad early in the fight, and Nurmagomedov usually throws some crazy strikes too. So I think second round finish here for Nurmagomedov. That might be something I sprinkle a little bit because usually, fighters who go crazy in the first round end up in the second round a little bit labored. So for me, Nurmagomedov second round. Those are the two things I'll be looking at.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
All right. Wait a second, Tim. Before we move on to the next one, um, was the last video we released the Bobby Green fight?
No.
So there was one in between. I'm going to look.
There, yeah, there was two.
There was two. Fucking hell.
Two fights. We only did the one. We didn't do last week.
Oh yeah. Because I couldn't remember if we got a shot to talk about Bobby Green because that was pretty insane. No, Bobby Green was the last card that we talked about on a video.
Oh, was it? Was it fight? That was a fight night?
Yeah, that was a fight night, and before or after that, it was last week's card with Barboza and stuff, and then, yeah, man. So we haven't even had a shot to talk about Bobby Green. That was insane, and everything we said on the pod was exactly right. The chin issues, Bobby Green just being a little bit more composed and staying confident in there. I was literally fucking. You weren't even home. You didn't even really get to see it. And then I called you, and I was just freaking out because it was like one punch. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
because I got home and I turned it on, and then Bobby Green's got his hands up,
Yep.
and Dawson's on the ground, and I was like, well, that didn't take long.
Yeah, man. Bobby Green, he looked good, and as we said, Dawson gets caught early. He got caught early by Mark fucking Madsen. So easy bet, easy cash for us there. That was sweet. All right, we've got quite the fight here. This should be fun for as
I,
long as
I,
this one lasts.
I yeah, I think it'll be quick, um, a finish, and then we'll be prepping for the next fight. So Ikram Aliskerov versus Warley Alves. Warley Alves took this fight short notice, coming off a two-fight losing streak. He hasn't fought before his loss to Nicholas Dalby about 8 months ago. He last fought about 2.5 years ago. He lost to Jeremiah Wells. We have Alice Skaroff coming up, a win over Phil Hawes, knocking him clean out. Contender Series submission. He did a couple fights in the Eagle FC and then that Brave. The kid is legit, and I think Warley Alves taking this fight short notice. This could be it for him. Um, and especially with Alex Karov, he's got 14 wins, right? So he's got 14 wins, 5 KOs, 5 subs. So he's good all the way around. I think it will be under 1.5. I think it's gonna be quick. We saw what happened with Phil Hawes. I think it's gonna go down something similar. Huge reach advantage, a little bit on the height, and the last time Warley Alves fought, he was fighting at 170. So now he's going up to harder hitters when you move up that much weight.
Yep. This is a crazy fight, dude. Do you know who Warley Alves has a win over?
Um, Not off the top of my head.
Colby Covington.
Like you're talking, how many years back are we talking?
Yeah, no. Fucking five probably. Colby Covington. You know who Askarov's only loss is? Hamzat Chimaev. So this is an interesting fight. These guys have been around. And I
Oh,
heard,
he went to. Did he go to decision with Cosma?
I think he got knocked out. Let me go look just to make sure.
Uh,
Yeah, he got knocked out. But he's been chasing that rematch ever since. He's been talking. He even really, really wanted that rematch after Chimaev didn't have an opponent for this card, and Aliskerov didn't have an opponent because he was supposed to fight Imavov. Imavov pulled out, so Askarov, he was like, "Give me Hamzat." Hamzat said no because obviously Askarov doesn't have a name and he's a tough fight. He's just too tough of a fight for a guy who doesn't have any name power right now. So obviously Chimaev's going to say no. Plus he already beat him. But Aliskerov is really, really chasing that rematch. He really wants that Hamza rematch. He said it multiple times. The only thing I could see happening here is number one, Alves has a really, really good guillotine. So if Aliskerov, decides to take it to the ground and then he gets guillotined, or has that power and he throws hammers in the first, I don't know, 2 minutes of the fight. But with that said, I just really think Aliskerov probably runs away with this very quick. So I'm on the under 1.5 because I think, either one gets a finish early, but I'm heavily leaning Aliskerov, and I would not be against, parlaying him with Saeed Nurmagomedov for the lock of the week, something like that. But Aliskerov, I think, gets this one quick.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be competitive, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Alves have like a moment of something decent, but I just think Aliskerov is one of those guys. Seeing his only loss be to Chimaev, and see he's chasing Chimaev. You just know this guy is high level. You know that he's got some skills and he's a decent fighter. And I think he's legit. I think he's someone who, I mean, they had him matched up with Imavov. They had him matched up pretty high up the ranking. So they have high hopes for this guy. I think they're just getting a build up fight here. I think this is one of those where he runs through Alves and then they get to give him a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy,
We got a big fight
we're
here.
getting close.
Yeah, we're getting close. Oh man, this is another one of those fights. This is one of those where the odds for me are a little bit off. We got Ankalaev and we got Johnny Walker. Ankalaev, obviously, everyone likes to act like Ankalaev is like this dark horse of the light heavyweight division. I keep hearing people
Yeah.
say, "I'm on Ankalaev to become champion," and it's like that's not a dark horse. He literally fought for the interim belt in his last fight. Like, what are you talking about? This isn't a big deal. Um, so Ankalaev, good fighter. He has ground game and he has nice striking. So he's pretty well rounded. He's a counter puncher in nature. He really likes the right hand. Johnny Walker, we all know Johnny Walker. Dude was the guy who was going to dethrone John Jones, according to everybody. And then we found out Johnny Walker's chin doesn't exist. We found out it was dust. Um, and then he lost some in a row. And now he's come back and he's on a 3-fight win streak. Kutalaba, Paul Craig, and Anthony Smith. So, Johnny Walker's doing a little bit of work here. He's got 3 wins in a row. And the big thing for me here is Ankalaev is not going to have a size advantage in this fight. So Ankalaev, his last 5 fights, Krylov smaller. Volkan Ozdemir, smaller. Thiago Santos, smaller. Anthony Smith, smaller. Jan Blachowicz, smaller. I want you guys to think about that. I'll go over the names again. Jan Blachowicz fought at 185 for most of his career. Anthony Smith fought at 185 for most of his career. Thiago Santos fought at 185 for most of his career. Volkan Ozdemir has never been shredded, has never really been big for 205. Nikita Krylov has never really been big for 205. So Ankalaev's had the physicality advantage over all of these guys. Johnny Walker, he's not going to be close to having the physicality advantage here. Johnny Walker is 6'6", 82-inch reach, and is every single bit of 205 pounds. The other thing I have here is Johnny Walker. Let's talk about his leg kicks, and let's talk about Magomed Ankalaev's susceptibility to those leg kicks in that last fight. Johnny Walker, he fights out of SGB Ireland right now. His leg kicks are, his top weapon at the moment. He's decided, I realize I don't have a chin, so I need to, fight at range. So he's been fighting at range lately. He's been shooting a lot of leg kicks out there. And Ankalaev got absolutely pummeled by Jan Blachowicz's leg kicks in that last fight. And I think, personally here, Johnny Walker has a really good opportunity to point fight his way to a win and or catch him with something stupid. Because Ankalaev, when I watch Ankalaev fight, really nice. The guy's got some really high-level skills, but he also has a kind of I don't know the right word. He gets a little bit overzealous and he moves into range a little bit too quickly. Like against Thiago Santos, he almost got finished in that fight because he moved in. He got a little bit, I guess, bored, and so he moved into range and got clipped. And I think Johnny Walker could do the same exact thing. Add in the leg kicks, add in the size of Johnny Walker, and I'm all over him here at plus 270 or whatever it is. I am all over Johnny Walker. This is him and Tim Elliott are my 2 bets of the card. I talked for a really long time, Tim, so take it away. Who do you got, and why do you think they're gonna win?
I'm gonna go with you. On Well, here's the thing. I'll know by the end of the first round. But
Yep.
the issue is if Uncle Ive can get a takedown, he's gonna lay on him. It's gonna be the exact same thing as the Blachowicz fight, where if, like you said, if Walker can stay on the outside, kick the shit out of him, and just not get in a range where he gets taken down, it should be. I mean, this is only 3 rounds, so
Yeah.
he's got to win 2 of those and then not get knocked out, which is absolutely plausible. The only thing is, Uncle Ive can also take you down and just lay on you for 2 rounds, like he did in the Blachowicz fight. So it depends on how smart each one of these fighters are. They each know what they have to do to win. The only thing that makes me nervous is with Johnny Walker is the smartest of fighters. Yes, he's been much better, but still goes out there and throws some wild shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could see him throwing something crazy, getting taken down, and then choked out himself or ground and pounded. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's why.
But I'm
That's why
gonna
he's
I'm gonna
plus
hit.
three
Well,
hundred.
I think yeah. If Walker wins, I think it'll be a leg kick knockout or decision. So I would do yeah, I'd probably do knockout or decision, double chance.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that makes me feel pretty good about this. Is I think so. Ankalaev, he's been really, really comfortable just sitting at range with fighters that he could take down. Like Thiago Santos, we know Thiago Santos has zero takedown defense. I mean, the guy, it feels like, I could shoot a single leg and, have a chance. I say that as a joke, just to anyone who's listening to this.
Yeah.
But Ankalaev could have taken down Thiago Santos and held him down and probably finished him in the first round or two because Thiago Santos, I mean, doesn't have a ground game. So, and he chose to stand with him. Same thing with Jan Blachowicz. It took him till the fourth round to decide to take him down. Once he took him down, he got a 10-8 round. It just took 3 rounds for him to decide to shoot a takedown. So I wonder here if he falls victim to that again and Johnny Walker gets a shot from the outside, if he just chooses to fight him from range again. But again,
Yeah.
I think you're right. If he chooses to take him down in that first round, then I think we'll be fucked. I think it'll be okay. Well, he's actually deciding to grapple here finally. So we'd be in a tough position there. But I think the bet on Johnny Walker near plus 300 it's a good value. It's gonna be. He has a really good shot. He could knock him out, and he could win a decision. I think those are two really really real paths to victory for Johnny Walker.
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see if we grab uh Walker um by knockout, that's plus 600.
Yep. I have a ticket for
So that's
Walker by
even
decision plus 750 as well.
yeah. So I mean, even if we look at that knockout or by decision, I mean, that's still plus 310, so that's almost it doesn't make sense. You just take the money line. But if you want to sprinkle a little bit of that plus 600, that could be something worthwhile.
You know what I'll probably have at least I'll have $5 on Johnny Walker by submission. Just because we know that Magomed's probably gonna shoot for a takedown. And at plus 2,000, I mean, $5. What the fuck matters there? You win $5 to win
Yeah.
100. So I'll probably at least have $5 on that, just as a little bit of a cover my ass sort of a situation. Because I could see Johnny Walker, long arms, sinking up a guillotine or something on a takedown attempt or a stupid Darce. They've got to at least teach him a little something at SGB or SBG.
Oh yeah, listen, he can do it. Johnny 100% can do it.
He submitted, yeah, Kutalaba. I remember that. Kutalaba's my boy. I love Kutalaba. I'm sad he didn't get a fight.
Uh,
Linz. Linz got scared.
oh yeah, 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 a lens.
It was a big one.
Oh man,
This is
here we go.
this is a great fight. You can start us off here, Tim.
All right, so we have Kamaru Usman coming in late notice, fighting Hazma Chimaev. Um, we were alluding to it earlier, or I was. Um, it was going to be a retirement fight. I think Chimaev is going to retire Saturday night. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be violent. I'm just not sure if he is gonna choke him out or knock him out. Let's be honest. Usman, his knees have everybody knows his knees haven't been the greatest. Um, he's getting up there, 36 years old. He's had a ton of fights, taken a lot of wear and tear on a skid, taking a short notice fight, moving up. Um, a weight class going against an absolute savage who is going to be faster, I think, stronger, taller, just all around a bigger guy, and that has no regard for anybody when it comes to getting locked in that cage. Granted, and here's the thing too. So he's gonna have both Trevor Whitman, I believe, and Henry Hoof uh, in his corner. So this is interesting to me because if you have both of them in your corner, he left Killcliff and went to Elevation when he had the Burns fight. So to have both of them there, to me that kind of sends a signal that listen, I don't know if I'm going to fight again if I don't win after this. I want both of you guys to be there. You guys have helped me, become a champion. I think that's going to be the case. I, Chimaev he's a freak of nature. Granted, he didn't fight smart when he fought Burns. It was a close fight. Um, but the way he came out in that fight, there's no way Usman can handle that. Especially, maybe Usman, 3-4 years ago, yeah. But I don't think Usman in his current state has a chance. To be honest with you.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of aspects to this fight. Like we look at it, and the first thing you think of is Usman's last two losses to Leon Edwards. The first one, getting sent into the shadow realm by Leon Edwards. That was one of the brutalest knockouts we've seen in recent history. That was like, eyes open, staring into just nothingness from Usman. It was just completely separated from consciousness. And then we saw him a little bit gun shy in that second fight. He was a little bit nervous of the power that Leon Edwards carried, and Leon Edwards beat him again. He just technically beat his ass. Another aspect to this, Chimaev slightly got exposed in that last fight not his last fight, but the fight against Burns. When he fought Burns, everyone thought he was this world beater. Burns was a 155er, moved up to 170. Chimaev was a 185er, moved down to 170. Chimaev should run through him here. Chimaev didn't run through him. That was a crazy fight. So he didn't really live up to expectation in that fight. Chimaev, a little bit of a playboy out there, a little bit of a partier with. He likes to hang out with Darren Till and be in the nightclubs and be staying up late and stuff. Usman, his knees don't fucking work. Did they pop at the training thing? I think they did, but and I think him going on Twitter and saying, people are moving to, just making up some bullshit. He just basically spewed some bullshit. I think his knee popped. It was pretty clear to me. He said something popped to Justin Gaethje, and then they cut the training short. But whatever, not that big of a deal. Chimaev with that weight miss, and then Chimaev in this week claiming that the weight miss was fabricated for the UFC so that they could make Diaz versus Ferguson. a whole bunch of shit, just some crazy ass shit. Chimaev, not really having the gas in that last fight against Burns, or one of his last fights against Burns. Kind of fading in the 3 rounder. Usman never fading. There's a lot of shit you can talk about with this fight, but I think the biggest thing, when it comes down to making the actual prediction here, is when I look at Hamzat Chimaev, just from a body, just from a fighting perspective, and I look at Kamaru Usman. Usman is going to be small here. Usman is going to be significantly weaker, in my opinion, than Chimaev. Chimaev is an absolute fucking animal. He has the type of strength that's just different. He has the type of strength that's like primal in a sense. I think he kind of has that like psycho strength. Like he's got that. He actually loves seeing his own blood and causing someone else to bleed. There's a lot of UFC fighters who don't love that. There's a lot of UFC fighters, you hear GSP talk, one of the best ever. He talks about not liking to do it, having panic attacks before fights, hating fight camp, hating fight day, it being the worst days of his life. He celebrates not having to do that anymore. That's not Hamzat Chimaev. Hamzat Chimaev is a different breed. The guy is, you think of an apex predator. That's fucking Chimaev. The dude, him fighting a wild animal, I'd be picking Chimaev unless it's something, real big. I think Chimaev is just a different breed of human. He's just like a different animal in there, and I think he gets in there. I think he pushes the pace on Usman in that first round. I think he grapples with Usman, and I don't think Usman can stop his grappling. We saw Usman get taken down by Leon Edwards. If you're getting taken down by Leon Edwards, you're going to get taken down by Hamzat Chimaev. He's also on a steep decline. Usman, 36. He's going to be 37. Chimaev, 29, in his prime, looking to become one of the GOATs. I think he takes him down. I think he beats him up a little bit, and I think he chokes him out. And I don't think it's going to be all that competitive. I think you alluded to it earlier. But I'm comfortable with adding Chimaev to the lock of the week parlay, lock of the week with Saeed Nurmagomedov, maybe, whatever it is. But I think Chimaev is just a different breed here, and I think he's going to be a tier above, which is crazy to say because Usman was one of the pound for pound bests. When we were talking a few months ago, one of the
Yeah.
best to ever do it. So it's weird to say that, but I just do think Chimaev is levels above Usman.
Yeah, but here's also the thing with the whole Gilbert Burns fight. That was at 170. We don't know the toll that it took for him to make that 170. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? We don't know, how serious he took that fight. Um, I know he took it serious, but then also after that fight, his coaches were furious. They told him to stop fucking around with Darren Till and you need to get back to training. And I think that's what he did because we haven't seen all the Darren Till Kamzat camaraderie bullshit leading up to this fight.
yeah.
So keep that in mind too. I think he's on the straight and narrow, and I think he's gonna be a real problem. And he's gonna get it done. I think this is gonna be violent. Like I said, violent, quick, and I don't think Usman is gonna be coming back after this.
Who do you think? You think anybody at 185 beats Chimaev?
Um, that's tough. I mean, we'll have to see how he does Saturday. I don't want to say. I don't want to kind of give an answer because you have guys that are uh, wrestling wise. I don't think so. Striking wise, yes. I think Izzy, um, a tough night out. Sean Strickland. I mean, even Sean Strickland, the way he's been fighting, the way he fought Izzy, stand up wise, I could see that giving Chamaev a fight for a little bit. maybe Bobby Knuckles. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think if I need to see how he looks Saturday night. If he just absolutely runs through Kamaru Usman, then even though Usman's on the decline, that's still a pretty huge win.
Here's the thing, man, is if Chimaev comes out like he did against Burns, and if Usman comes out pre Leon Edwards, this is going to be a very, very interesting fight because Usman probably has the striking advantage then. Usman's a better, I mean, he knocked out
I don't.
Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He knocked out Gilbert Burns. Um, I mean, his most recent knockout was against a crusty ass Jorge Masvidal 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, Masvidal's
You
fucking
know,
ass.
so this is a whole another breed. This isn't a walk in the park. Let's put it this way: if Kamzat comes out like he did against Gilbert Burns, he's Usman's flatlined right there under 1 round. It wouldn't surprise me if this is under a round. I might hit a little Chimaev in the first.
I have under 2.5 on this parlayed.
Yeah, this isn't gonna be good. Do you think he's gonna retire if he loses?
mm, I don't know. It's
Where
tough.
let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. Where does he go? If he loses, does he go back down to 170 and try and climb back in that fucking pool? Or does he
Yeah.
try and climb?
I think
Yeah?
I think if Usman loses this, he doesn't really lose much. He lost at 185 on a
What are
week
you talking
notice. So I think he
Yeah,
can
okay,
kind
so
of
he goes
talk
to.
his way out of that being really detrimental to his record.
So then what? He doesn't get the winner of Covington and Edwards. He'd have to fight somebody else. Who does he fight that you want to see?
I want to see him versus Bilal. I think that'd be a great fight.
I don't want to see either of them fight.
I think I'm the only person who's believed in Bilal for his past 5 fights. Everyone else hates Bilal, but I've been making so much money on
Yes.
the guy.
Here's the thing. I feel like Bilal is that type of dude that he'll get to the fight for the belt and get sparked in the first 30 seconds.
He is.
Like
That's exactly
he'd
who
get
he is.
he'd get that Grant Dawson treatment. It's like, oh shit, it's already over.
Yep, he'd get like head kick knockout by Leon Edwards in like 35 seconds. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think Chimaev is the one with a lot to lose here. I think Usman, Usman's coming up a weight in 1 week notice. I'm interested to see if that gives Usman the ability to kind of fight free. I want to see if he'll let the hands go. I don't think we've ever seen Usman brawl. Like we've never seen the guy actually just brawl. So if we see him get in a brawl here, I mean, I'd be interested to see how he fares. I think his chin and his power is a little bit worse than Chimaev's. I think Chimaev's got a better chin and more power. So I think Chimaev probably that's in Chimaev's favor as well. But I would love to see it. I would love to see what Usman's made of, and I would love to see what Chimaev's made of here. So I mean, I'm all for it. If Usman comes out, abandons the wrestling, and just completely goes balls to the wall, complete just madman swinging, weak notice sort of a deal. Um, but dude, I mean, I could see Usman also having some success technically boxing on the feet. Jab, straight, jab, cross, that sort of a deal. I don't know though. I don't know. I'm on Chimaev. I'm just talking too much, so I'm gonna end up. There's always gonna be points for the other guy. There's always gonna be ways they could win, but I do think Chimaev goes out there, gets a takedown in 30 seconds, and beats the fuck out of Usman.
Yeah.
It's a great fight
All
though.
right.
I mean, these top two fights. I have a feeling I'm gonna be feeling, that big fight feeling going into them. When you're watching and you just get that weird feeling in your gut, like, damn, this has some legit weight for the sport.
Yeah, so here's my issue with this. And apparently I think I'm not with the majority here. Everybody likes this fight. I like the fight. I don't like the circumstances. And it's not that Volk's taking it on 2 weeks' notice. It's the fact that Volk is now leaving a fight with Taporia that might get backed up now, and it's holding up the division.
Yeah.
I think I think here's how I think this should work. And you move up to take this fight, right? You can automatically um, vacate a title if you win, so you could be double champ, and then you can vacate it the next day. So if he's the 145, right, and he moves up, he wins 155. He could either vacate the 145 or vacate the 155, right? So we can keep that division going. Or if he doesn't want to, then he needs to fight in each division, in a 3 month span. So if he wins, right, if he wins right now and becomes double champ, then he should fight Ilya Taporia in January. And then after Ilya Taporia, right, no matter if he wins or loses, in April, first week of April, he should be fighting Justin Gaethje or Charles Oliveira, or Gamrot,
I mean, he
for
should
that,
be. They should just complete the trilogy. If he beats him here, then
But
Makhachev
why?
definitely
But why?
deserves the
You're
rematch.
tying up a division. You already had a crack at it, dude. You didn't win.
I agree.
You didn't
I
win.
100% agree with you here that he should. This
Maybe
sucks if he
if
wins.
you vacate your belt, I'm with you. I hope you could do it. You have the chance where you can hold both belts if you win, but come Monday morning, Tuesday morning, you're vacating a title.
I think
I
if
don't
he
think it's
wins
fair.
here,
I
he
don't think
does
it's fair to the
vacate
roster.
145.
But here's and listen, I'm a Connor homer, and I thought what he did with holding up the belts and stuff like that was wrong. So you know, it's not fair to Poirier. How long is Poirier got to be on ice for, or does he have to take another fight? Does he have to fight Max Holloway? You know what I
Probably.
mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. That's the thing where it's like, oh, well, who was it? Arnold Allen, right? He's like, oh, well, fucking Volk is fighting Makachev, so we'll give you the Max Holloway fight, and next thing you know, fucking Max Holloway fucking beats him, and now he's not in the contender anymore. He's got to win a couple more fights before he gets back there. So that's the part that's fucking crazy to me. Like I don't understand how they can just do this,
Yeah.
um, and hold up the division.
I think it's
And
because.
I think
Go ahead. Sorry.
and I think he's gonna get fucking finished.
Yeah.
I think it's a great, but 12 weeks notice or 12 days notice, recovering surgery from your hand, moving up, right? Moving up a weight class again, fighting a guy that is much taller than you, going to be much bigger, a huge frame, 4 years younger, that already beat you, and now you're fighting in his backyard. I mean, he couldn't even do it when they went in Australia. They were in Australia.
Yeah.
So I think this is. I think Volk's gonna get finisher, but my big issue is the fact that now you're tying up another division, and that kind of bums me out because I wanted to see that Taporia fight in the beginning of January.
Yeah. I'm really excited about Taporia. I'm a big believer that Taporia might be the guy to finish Volk. But also here
So
we get one of these fights. I just rewatched it. You compelled me to rewatch the first one because I thought it was close, but I also thought it was a 4-1. when I watched it first, and by close and 4-1, which can be a little misleading. I mean, I thought two of the rounds were kind of swing rounds that could have went either way when I first watched it. And upon rewatch, I thought it was 3-2. I thought it was a close fight, but I thought Makhachev pretty clearly won the fight. And I'm gonna give a prediction here, and that is, I think Makhachev, if he wins, it's gonna be by knockout, and I think it's gonna be a right hook or a left head kick. Those are the two things I really really noticed from that first fight was the right hook and the left head kick, and I think both of them are gonna be coming in hot in this second fight. Um, and dude, the one thing that really gets me going about this fight though is I don't think Makhachev is going to be able to take Volk down. Like he wasn't able to much. He had one round where he got enough control to win the round in that first fight, and I think he's probably going to have less success here. Um, because when you fight a guy a second time and you know their strengths and you've grappled with them before, like grappling is different from striking. When it comes to striking, the punches, you can tell what the fighter is going to throw, but it still comes fast, and it's still something that, the speed, the timing, all that stuff can catch you off guard. But grappling's a little bit different. Like if you know the techniques and you felt them before from that individual, then it's really, really, you can feel it coming. You can feel like they can't really surprise you as much as striking. Striking, they can surprise you with all that sort of stuff, precision and stuff. But grappling, it's just much different. If you felt it, you can usually fend it off. And so I think Volk, pair that with his low center of gravity, and I think he's just a really good fighter to defend takedowns from Makhachev. But dude, this is in Makhachev's backyard. He doesn't have to. He's gonna get 24 IVs between weigh-ins and fight time, and no one's gonna be able to do shit about it. He's probably gonna be hacking up some adrenaline before the fight, dude. He's probably gonna be fucking sticking a needle in his bum before the fight. No one's gonna be able to stop shit. So it's like, how am I feeling about this fight? I think the price is a little bit crazy now that Makhachev is minus 300. Um, but I also think Makhachev has all the tools to just finish him here. Like you said, I think Makhachev, that hook and that head kick, I think those are two really, really good weapons for him. He was landing on him in the first. I think Volk, he's going to have a different game plan here. I think he's going to kind of have to throw technical striking out the window. In that first fight, he tried to be smart about it, and he tried to like slowly work his way into range and tried to um, I guess, technically use his footwork to get into range. I think this time he's going to have to, I guess, I mean, for the lack of no better word, Trevor Peak his way into it. Fucking move and throw some shit is what I think he's going to have to do. And I think he's going to have to get a finish early. I think he's going to have to knock Makhachev out early. And I've been going back and forth on this all week. If I think Volk can get that knockout early, and then not a lot in that first fight made me think he could. He had a few good punches. He had two or three good shots that, really stung Makhachev. But Makhachev had just as many back. And now everything is in Makhachev's favor when it comes to home, who's closer to home, who's going to have doctors on their side, who's going to have all this shit. And I think Makhachev has all that stuff now. And so, I'm going to be on the Makhachev side here when it comes to just a pick. I have Volkanovski in some crazy parlays. I'll probably cash out of them before even if they get close to Volk. But I think the price is a little crazy too. I think this should probably be, Volk plus 150 to plus 175. But the price has gotten a little out of hand. But I'll pick the Makhachev side as well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 12 days notice.
It's
I mean,
tough, man. 12 days is not a lot of time.
no, that's what I'm saying. 12 days with the surgery, moving up, no camp. So
And
I
Makhachev
mean,
looked
it's
much bigger in that last fight. Like he looked
oh
dramatically
yeah,
larger, and he's gonna have those IVs and the extra help rehydrating this time around because last time around he did not because he was in Australia.
yeah. You know what the whole thing is too? I need to see the weigh-ins, because that might sway my prediction. I gotta see how sucked out Makhachev is because he cuts a lot of weight.
Yeah, I mean, if he has a bad weight cut, then it just lends itself more to that Volk early, like that Volk 1, 2, 3. And
Yeah,
I texted you this earlier, and I stand by this. I think if Volk wins, it is 1, 2, or 3 knockout, and if Makhachev wins, I think it's 4, 5. 4, 5 probably knockout as well or submission. Just either one, but. I might throw a little money on that somehow. I might throw a little money on. I don't think it'll be first. Maybe like Volk 2, 3, and then Makhachev 4, 5. Because Makhachev 4, 5 should have a pretty good price. I can probably actually find that. Let me look. Do you have? Well, let me look here. All right. Yeah.
yeah. I'm on it right.
So Makhachev round props. Yeah. So
But here's the whole
Makhachev
thing, and
forward.
you're saying that's a bad weight cut.
Say what?
You're saying that's on a bad weight cut for Makachev to take Volk 1 through 3, or are you saying just in general?
Yeah, no. If I see Makhachev, like if his face is real, like if he looks like a skeleton in his face and his eyes are sunken, then I'd take Volk 2, 3, which is plus 2,000 plus 2,500, and then Makhachev 4, 5, which is plus 1,200 plus 1,800. And you just need one of them to hit, and then you'd make more than enough money to cover all the other bets. So if you put $5 on each of them, let me look. If Volk, let's see here. Yeah, so if one of the Volk bets wins, you'd make $5 makes you 130, and if Makashev wins, $5 would make you 95. So yeah, you'd make. It's just you gotta have one of them hit, and that's probably what I'd be looking at because I don't think this is going 5. I really don't, based on the 12 days notice and then that first fight. Usually when we see fighters get a second one in, they've zoned in. They don't really have that warm up round. They don't really have that feel each other out round. They kind of know what to expect. They know the strength of the other people, and they know, do I need to go for broke here? Which is what happened with Adesanya and Pereira in that second MMA fight. Is Adesanya kind of knew he had to go for broke, and he did, and it worked out. So I'm interested to see if Volk can have that same sort of success. Just because I think he does need to go for broke here if he's going to win. I think it's going to have to be a knockout early. Um, this is just going to be a great fight, man. I think this is going to be one of those where like they're just very evenly matched. In that first fight, Makhachev won, but Volk had his moments, and the fight was definitely not one sided. So it's just two great
Yeah,
fighters, like two guys that could go down. If Makhachev were to fight 5 more years, he could be one of the goats. Volkanovski's already one of the goats, so this is just a great fight that we get to see.
yeah. It'll be good. It is a little disappointing that it's not going to be full camps for Volk and Usman. Um,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, it kind of fits the narrative of this card. It's very, very heavy on the Abu Dhabi crowd,
Yep, the Russian
as in
side.
paper. So, but I think we're in for a really good card. I think it's going to be really, really well.
Yeah, do you have any strong opinions on dog of the week or lock of the week?
Um, Lock of the week, I think is going to be a Chimaya finish. To be honest with you, dog of the week, Tim Elliott. It's got to be Tim Elliott or Johnny Walker.
Yeah,
I would lean more towards Tim Elliott, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. Maybe we just roll with two dogs of the week, cause I don't know. Maybe I don't have really an opinion on which one is better than the other. That's kind of the issue. I do think Tim Elliott probably has a better shot of just being
Me
more
too, because
dominant.
he's the smarter.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
exactly.
smarter fighter.
Exactly. I don't know. Let me look at Chimaev
And
by
then I
finish
would
here.
say minus 120.
Just by finish is minus 120. I don't mind that at all. I do
Yeah.
not mind that at all. Yeah, you just get him.
Let's put it this way.
That is a
I
great
just I
bet.
just I just put a little parlay together. Judakova to win by finish. Magomedov, Shara, that's what he goes by. Shara Magomedov to win by TKO or KO. Syed Nurmagomedov money line. Alaskarov to win by TKO or sub, and Chimaev to win by TKO or sub. It is plus 1584.
Nice. That's where we get up in those nice little crazy ass bets. I like that.
Yeah.
I've got
So,
I've got some to throw out as well. So I've got a five pick parlay of Volk, Usman, Johnny Walker, Elliott, and a Zaitar. I've it's $5 to win 3 grand. But Usman obviously is the weak link there. So then I have Volk, Walker, Elliott, Azaitar, and then I have Walker, Elliott, and Azaitar, and then I have just Walker and Tim Elliott. So um, those are my
I don't mind.
crazy parlays.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Hey, we all know this is a fight. There's only two people, so each guy's got a 50% chance of winning.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I think Chimaev by finish is a good lock. I think I think I'm pretty confident in that.
That's minus 120. That's not bad, right?
And a lock of the night, minus 120 Chimaev, and then dog of the night, got two of them. Usman, not Usman, Walker and Elliott. I like it.
Yes, sir.
All right, Tim. This was good. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it.
That's right. And then what do we have? What do we have next?
Let me go look here. After this, we've got Almeida versus Derek Lewis, and
Oh, baby.
I don't think there's many good fights on that card. It's kind of another one of those bummy cards, but and then right after that
Oh
we
yeah, and
get
then
John Jones and Stipe.
yep. So there's no fight next weekend.
Yes, correct, correct.
November. November is where they get cracking.
Yep. Then we get that Jones Miocic, and then we get after that we get the Edwards and Covington, which that card is fucking stacked right now. We got Luque and Ian Gary, Ferguson Pimlet, Shavkat and Wonder Boy. Got some names on that card.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I'm pumped for that one too.
That'll be great. And then I heard, through the grapevine, Tim, that McGregor early 2024. How you feeling about that?
What's he fighting at? 205?
205. Probably 265 to
Is
be
he?
honest.
Oh, guys, he's killing me. Well, it'll be a good fight, hopefully.
I think he
Him
knocks
and
out
Chandler. So
Michael Chandler. I really do.
yeah, I hope so.
I mean, but it's been
I
such a
hope so.
layoff
He
here.
hasn't. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
We'll see though. It'll be a good fight either way. Whatever happens. All
All
right.
right, bud.
It was good.
Thank you. Thank you.